Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking to you about the rest of the week that was in professional wrestling. So that's WWE SmackDown, AEW Collision, and AEW Rampage. Definitely a bit of a mixed bag here in terms of, quality, but I'll leave that all up to you. So we start off with WWE SmackDown, and it's our first second round match of the Queen of the Ring tournament, as we have Bianca Belair taking on Tiffany Stratton. These two have kind of been dancing around each other for a while now. Glad to see this match because, oh boy, they absolutely killed it. This was a great matchup. Tiffany looking to take advantage, including targeting the knee, which, that's always a good move. Goes for the prettiest moonsault ever, which is my favorite rendition of the move. No offense, Christopher Daniels. But that completely whiffs. Bianca goes for a KOD that gets countered into a massive hip attack in the corner. Eventually, Bianca does hit the KOD for the victory, moving on in the Queen of the Ring. Now, I know there's a lot of people online who wanted Tiffany Stratton to be the one to win Queen of the Ring, and ultimately, I do agree this was a bit of a weird choice. However, this is definitely not the end for Tiffany Stratton, because there is another event coming up soon, Money in the Bank. So that's going to be an interesting one. We then go right to a Bianca Belair interview in the ring, in which I love these. It kind of reminds me of the UFC events when one of the announcers would go in post-match and interview the two of them. That always seems... This is a sports presentation I appreciate. With Bianca revealing, my knee isn't 100%, but I don't get to the top by complaining. And next week, injuries are new. Nothing is stopping me from becoming Queen of the Ring. Nice, easy, to the point, get you fired up. We then go backstage. You got Logan Paul walking down to Nick Aldis' office, goes to knock on the door. Out comes L.A. Knight, who is in King of the Ring, but we're teasing something else. Something that I feel like should have happened at WrestleMania, but the fact we're starting this, I'm okay with it. So they have a little bit of a face-off. Then Nick Aldis comes out saying, Paul, we got the contract ready for you. So they go into the office. We're going to get to that a little later. That's going to be interesting. We then get in the backstage area, Jade Cargill interview. Hyping up her match with Nia Jax upcoming, which we'll get to that. And hyping herself up for Queen of the Ring. Then in comes Bianca Belair. Jade Cargill asks about her knee. And then Bianca's like, you go. Let's face each other in the SmackDown finals next week. So, that's going to be interesting. Then we get the weirdest segment of all time. You got the Bloodline, so that's Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, along with Paul Heyman. And then we start close up with Tama Tonga, and he's if you remember, what's the name of that cartoon? The Thornberrys cartoon, you remember that little wild child that they had with him? It kind of sounded like he made that noise. Or like Tasmanian Devil. Which is, that was just weird. So then Solo kind of puts his hand on his shoulder saying, It's time. It's time to go. So Tonga and Loa go first. Then Paul Heyman rises out of his seat, asks Solo, "Did you talk to him yet today?" Him meaning Roman. Then Solo kind of smirks and answers, "Yes, I did. I talk to him all the time." Walks off. There's no way Solo is talking to Roman. I think Solo's talking to The Rock. And I think that's where we're going to end up seeing Rock versus Roman in the future, which I am all for. And then maybe something at Survivor Series. Because I think Bloodline versus New Blood would be almost absolutely perfect for War Games. Then we go back to another place backstage with an LA Knight interview saying, Bloodline aren't what they used to be, but I'm not going to focus on them for right now. I'm going to focus on winning King of the Ring. Then in walks Carmelo Hayes, in which there's a match I didn't know I needed. Saying, alright, you've been here a while. You obviously didn't welcome me to SmackDown. And LA Knight retorts, yeah, you were drafted in front of me, but do you remember who was drafted number 1 in the draft with Tom Brady? No one does. Look, you shouldn't be looking past Orton. And Carmelo Hayes finishes up. Most dangerous letters aren't going to be RKO. It's going to be HIM. Which, that is a very lame catchphrase. I'm sorry. Not doing it for me. So then we get to the second round matchup of the King of the Ring, as it's Tama Tonga being led to the ring by the rest of the Bloodline, taking on LA Knight. Yeah. And, this was the usual Bloodline structured match. Babyface gets an advantage. Bloodline interfere a little bit. Although they didn't get in the ring. They just kind of stood on the apron. And then LA Knight kind of taunts Solo Sikoa from ringside. Tama Tonga hits a flatliner to win. I don't know the name of his finisher. That looks like the most basic flatliner I've ever seen. But end of the day, Tama Tonga moving on. And I think I know where this is leading to. I think King of the Ring is going to be all Bloodline final, as we see Jimmy take on Tama Tonga. Although, I'll give you my predictions for that on Wednesday. Stay tuned. Then we get LA Knight. He's walking backstage. He's looking distraught. Runs into Carmelo Hayes. They kind of push into each other. They're jawing each other. And then officials in. They're breaking it up. We then go to the King and Queen of the Ring WWE title match. Contract signing between Logan Paul, who has an entourage and apparently some legal office. I don't know what this guy's title is, but whatever. And coming out next is Cody Rhodes. And this was interesting, because we got Cody starting off asking, "Hey Logan, do you know what happened in this building 32 years ago? I didn't expect you to know, but I know all these people know because they love wrestling. It was the 1992 War Games match. Sting Squad versus the Dangerous Alliance." I didn't know that. That's a wild one. Cody continues, "The reason I asked you about this, I'm a true fan of what I do. Clearly, you're not a fan. You're a tourist. Well, now it's time to get off the train and drop the U.S. title to someone more deserving and making myself a Grand Slam champion. So Cody wants the U.S. title, which, fine, I guess. Then Logan Paul pipes up saying, you're saying everything my previous opponents did. I didn't come here to hear you talk. I came here to sign a contract. So let's do it. But before anyone could sign the contract, Logan has his legal representative look over a little bit, and as Logan rips up the contract, saying, oh, this isn't what I signed up for. I signed up for a WWE title match, not for my title to be on the line. So I had my legal counsel here draw up a new contract. Logan puts it on the table. So why don't you sign that? Then Nick Aldis chimes up. He said, I've had enough of you. You're nothing but bad for business, and I won't stand for this. Then Cody chimes in and says, hold on. Nick, we all know what happens when you get angry. Do me a favor, let me finish this up, and I'll get this paperwork for you. And then Logan just kind of pipes up, alright, I signed this contract, it's all done, let's do it. And Cody, what have you done to get a title shot? You haven't beaten anyone. Then Cody retorts, I've proven I am... No, this is still Logan. I've proven I am worthy of every title WWE has. Now why don't you sign the contract, big boy? And then Cody Rhodes retorts, the honeymoon's over. You're going to find out at Queen and King of the Ring. You're going to find out who Logan Paul is, and that a future Hall of Famer beat you. Cody then signs. He's about to leave. Logan Paul picks up the U.S. title, tries to go for a title shot, whiffs. Then Cody with a clothesline over the top. The rest of Logan Paul's entourage bails, except for the legal counsel, who eats a big old powerbomb through the contract signing table, which... yeah, that was a pretty neat little segment. I like the contrast between these two guys. Match should be absolutely great. We then go to a Nia Jax interview, which she's saying, Jade has to hype herself all up. Jade is strongest. She is. She's great in the ring. She is. But she is not Queen of the Ring, and I will not let that happen. I will be Queen of the Ring. We then go to this next matchup, as it's the other second round matchup of the Queen of the Ring, as Nia Jax takes on Jade Cargill. Now at first it's usual, back and forth, big shoulder tackles from Jade, big old lariat for Nia. They fight in the crowd for a little bit. They're fighting a little bit on the announce table. Then we see someone very interesting sitting ringside. It's Jade Cargill's daughter. And Nia is getting into a little jawing match with her. Nia gets the chair. It looks like she's about to hit Jade Cargill with it. Jade catches it, takes it from Nia, hits Nia Jax with the chair. So your winner by disqualification, Nia Jax. Post-match, there's a big brawl between these two. And then Jade finishes Nia on the ramp. Now, I have seen a lot of discourse with this matchup. I do kind of agree that I'm not all about the DQ. However, I do understand why they did it. This is a big time match. This is kind of a dream match, honestly, between two kaiju. And you don't just give that away for free on TV. That's the reason why, for his King of the Ring match with Brock Lesnar, Stone Cold left. A little history for you wrestling buffs. So, yeah, I don't mind the match ending this way. Maybe they could have done it a little bit more creatively, but I understand why they did. Next up, a bit of a random tag team match, playa, as DIY, that's Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, take on Legado del Fantasma, that's Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. And this match, I'll admit, it was a lot better than I thought it would be. Definitely a lot of good back and forth with Garza and Humberto trying to, chop down the redwood. There's really no redwood. Trying to target Johnny Gargano, keep him away from Ciampa. Eventually, Ciampa does get in. Eventually, Santos Escobar and ends up on the apron, distracting Gargano. Then Elektra Lopez comes in, knocks Gargano off the top rope. Then the ref sees it, throws both of them out. They're actually on the ramp. Gargano and Ciampa with a meet in the middle for your winners. So, they're definitely trying to build DIY back up, as they have a stare down with the champions, A-Town Down Under, who have been sitting at the commentary table. So, it definitely feels like WWE are trying to build better in the tag division. Then we get this little interesting footage of WWE acknowledging the Uncle Howdy vignettes and stuff. And honestly, last Wednesday, was it last Wednesday or last Thursday? I think it was last Thursday on WWE's Twitch stream, they showed footage of the social worker, whatever you want to call her, therapist, talking with whoever it was. And still showing, like, creepy visuals, which I'm absolutely happy WWE are acknowledging these. So, yeah, let's see where this goes. A lot of people are saying it's the return of Uncle Howdy. We'll see. Then we go to a backstage AJ Styles interview, where AJ says, "Where am I going to go from here? I was this close to the WWE title, and I lost it. I had a chance to redeem myself in the King of the Ring tournament, and I lost in the first round. So after this, I'm going to go talk with Aldis and see where I go from here." So, a lost AJ Styles. I was kind of hoping for more from Mr. Styles, but I'm definitely interested in seeing where the man goes from here, because he's still my favorite wrestler. Bar none, he's my favorite wrestler. We then go to a Bayley interview, saying how stacked the women's division is here on SmackDown. But before she can continue, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven are in, with Green saying, "You spread some bad juju on us." And then Bayley says, "Oh, this is not a good time, ladies. I'm not here for this. We'll talk next week in the ring." Chelsea Green versus Bayley. Not a match I thought I'd see on WWE TV, but I am here for it. And finally, our main event for SmackDown, and it's the last King of the Ring second round matchup, as Randy Orton takes on Carmelo Hayes. And did this deserve to be in the main event? Oh boy. These two brought it. These two... These two honestly have some great chemistry. Even though Hayes is new to the main roster, these two work very, very well. Including with Hayes going for a crossbody, Randy catching it into a RKO for the win. So, yeah, your winner. Moving on. Randy Orton. And I don't think this damages Carmelo Hayes at all. Plus, we got him maybe in a program with LA Knight. I could be fine with that. And post-match, we start off with a Randy Orton interview. Bloodline interrupt. And then Randy Orton gets on the mic. He says, "Hold on, Bloodline. You're trying to intimidate me? Let me introduce you to me," as he lists off all his accomplishments. Royal Rumble winner, multiple-time world champion. And Tama, next week in Saudi Arabia, I'm going to introduce my foot to your ass. And I'm going to reintroduce you all to the most dangerous letters in WWE. RKO. Oh, man. This was a great segment to end SmackDown. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see where this goes from here. Like I said, I do kind of see Tama Tonga moving on to the next round. Although, I guess we'll see. So that was SmackDown. We move on to AEW Collision, where we start off with a very underrated match as Will Ospreay takes on Shane Taylor. And who do we have out on commentary? It's Roderick Strong. With the rest of the kingdom, minus Adam Cole, sitting on commentary. This match was absolutely fantastic. I loved every single minute of it. And Shane Taylor moves like nobody else. Like, this dude is so underrated by so many. It's unbelievable. At one point, you see both Ospreay and Shane Taylor on the outside. The Kingdom kind of gets in Shane Taylor's face, but they eventually back off. Taylor gets back in the ring, goes for a pile driver. That gets blocked. Ospreay with a bunch of super kicks into the Storm Driver for the win. Post-match, while Ospreay is celebrating, Roderick Strong gets on the apron. He holds his title up for Will Ospreay to see. Then, what are the names? Taven and Bennett attack Will Ospreay from behind. Eventually, Ospreay fights back and just hits a bunch of dives on both sides. That was a little bit insane. Gonna be interesting to see what they do at Double or Nothing with Will Ospreay and Strong. We then get a recap of Darby Allin's Dynamite return and him joining Team AEW for not Stadium Stampede, Anarchy in the Arena. We then go to a backstage promo from FTR and Bryan Danielson, saying how they love that the Young Bucks put a bounty on their heads. We're now taking on 3 of the craziest guys to take up that challenge. We love to fight. We love AEW. We'll fight every night if possible. So, nice, short, easy promo from the babyfaces. We then go to a Jon Moxley / Claudio Castagnoli promo saying yeah, Takeshita, he's a blue chipper. He's come after me. I've done far worse to better people. My secret, I'm used to being a target. Takeshita, you and the Don Callis family are only in it for the gold and the green. Well, I don't give a rat's ass. And it's who we are. We hunt because we are lions. We never play for the money. And we are who we are. Then Claudio chimes up saying, I can't believe I'm being the voice of reason here in the Blackpool Combat Club. But I am who I am, and I hate standing like this in front of a camera. I prefer to go out there and prove it in the ring. And Don Callis family, you're fake because you don't live it. I see through your facade. You're dealing with the real deal. And you started this. Moxley then chimes in to get Don Callis family. You started this game. And at Double or Nothing, I'm gonna finish it. I love Jon Moxley's promos. His Candace, his energy. It's great. He's awesome. Then we go to a previously filmed Dynamite Chris Jericho promo where he's in the back with Big Bill saying, Alright, Hook, it seems like I touched a nerve with you this past week, but it tells me you're learning, but you still got a lot to learn. Makes me so proud of you that you're listening. But now we get to serious business. I'm going to make you better inside and outside the ring. And thank you for the shiner. Good luck in your match. You're going to need it. Then we go to the weirdest, 3 matches in a row I think I've ever seen. So first up, these next 3 matches are going to be qualifiers for a triple threat on Dynamite, where the winner goes on to face Jericho at Double or Nothing. So, our first matchup, we got Hook taking on Johnny TV, aka Johnny Mundo, aka Johnny Nitro, aka John Morrison, aka on and on and on. And this match, at least at first, was kind of dominated by Johnny TV. Eventually, Hook gets back in to it. Taya then gets up on the apron to distract Hook. Johnny TV almost hits Taya. He then hits an enziguri on Hook. Goes for Starship Pain, but misses. Hook locks in the Red Rum for the victory. Was an entertaining match. Was it necessary? Not really. And as Hook is going up the apron, out comes Katsuyori Shibata. They bump fists as Shibata comes out for his match, his qualifying match against Rocky Romero. Now this match was way more competitive and way better. You got the ground and pound technical style of Shibata versus the more high-flying style of Rocky Romero. Shibata wins with a figure 4 leg lock. I don't think I've ever seen him win like that, but, that was pretty cool. Post-match, Shibata and Rocky shake hands. Then as Shibata's walking up the ramp to celebrate, out comes Bounty Hunter Brian Keith. They don't bump fists, but Brian Keith tips his hat to him as we go to our final FTW title qualifier as Bounty Hunter Brian Keith takes on Boulder, formerly of Bear Country. Now it's the Iron Savages, if you remember them. It has definitely been a while since I've seen these guys wrestle. This was more than kind of a comedy match, as at one point you see Bronson try to take Brian Keith and wipe him with Boulder's chesticles. That's the best way I can describe it. Brian Keith gets him off the apron, goes for a titty twister, which don't think I've ever seen that in wrestling, and hits a cutter for the win. Like I said, this was less of a serious match, more of a comedy match. And yeah, we now get our qualifiers. And honestly, having these matches set up like this, I kind of dig it. Like, I know it's shorter, kind of nothing matches, but with how these matches were set up, I'm okay with it. So, anyway, we go to backstage for a Pac interview, who says, I couldn't care less about what Bullet Club Gold has. Credit where it's due, they are very funny. Usually that naughty behavior would tussle my feathers, but I haven't felt a thing in weeks. So I'm giving the entire locker room an open invite. Make me feel something. And then we go kind of to the entrance ramp where Bullet Club Gold is making their entrance. We pan out, we see Pac laying at their feet. So then Jay White has a microphone and he says, bet you care now, don't you, you bastard. So, yeah, I'm not sure where we go from here. I guess we're going to get a trios match at Double or Nothing. But I don't know if it's going to be like, if we're going to see Death Triangle again. I'm not sure. I guess we'll see. We then go to a Christian Cage promo where the entire patriarchy is there, saying, look, Nick, this match tonight, it's just a warm-up because you're facing Swerve on Wednesday. And Nick Wayne says, Christian, with all due respect, when I first faced Swerve, when Swerve attacked me in my own home, I was just a boy. But now I've become a man, and I know I can beat Swerve on my own. Fighting words from Nick Wayne. I'm all about it. We then go to this very unexpected matchup as we see Orange Cassidy take on Isaiah Cassidy. A one-on-one contest. This was definitely a big surprise. Some really, really good back and forth. At one point, you see Trent. He's coming down the, steps in the crowd. Gets a front row seat. He definitely jaws a little bit with Orange Cassidy during the match. At one point, Isaiah Cassidy counters a beach break for a roll-up, only for a 2 count. Cassidy goes for a heat seeker, but Orange blocks it. Then Isaiah Cassidy with a silly string off the ref, which that was impressive. Then hitting a Scorpion Death Drop into a Swanton Bomb for only a 2 count. Isaiah goes for a pile driver that gets blocked. Orange with the beach break for the victory. We then go to a ringside interview from Trent Beretta saying, being here, it's more than watching this match, it's more than obvious. I'm better than Orange Cassidy. The only reason he won in our match is because he cheated. And I'm out here to issue a challenge for Double or Nothing versus Orange. And before he can finish, Orange Cassidy attacks Trent ringside. That match is going to be heated. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait. We then go to our token women's match of the evening as Serena Deeb takes on Anna Jay. And I'm going to say this, to have watched Anna Jay's entire growth on TV, she has gotten way better in the ring. Not to say she was ever bad, but yeah, she's definitely gotten a lot better. A lot of really good back and forth between the two. Anna Jay goes for a gory special, but that gets blocked into an implant buster. Then Deeb locks in the Serenity Lock to win by submission. Then we get something interesting as Luther, who is Timeless Toni Storm's, backup, takes Deeb's, flag, which she keeps at ringside. She brings out for her entrance, brings it up the ramp. He and Mariah May unfurl the flag in front of the entranceway. Then out comes Timeless Toni Storm. She goes behind it and starts undressing. Now, obviously, we don't see her, but we see Mariah May's reaction, and she's like, it's an unbelievable sight. And then May and Luther wrap Toni Storm with the flag. She starts going down the ramp, but Serena Deeb gets out of the ring and starts chasing them up the ramp to backstage. This feud is weird, but I am like 100% here for it. We then go to a little Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage hype video. Very well produced. Can't wait for that match. We then go to our next matchup, as it's Nick Wayne taking on Jack Cartwheel. And if you've never seen Jack Cartwheel, you're about to learn his name, because this was an interesting little matchup. Not overly long, but did its job. As Jack starts by dodging Nick Wayne's attacks with cartwheels. That's right, he lives up to his name. But then he misses on a big splash and a dive, which, God, I am surprised he didn't die. Nick Wayne gets him back in. Pummeling strikes, a stomp, Wayne's World. But just as he's pinning him, Nick Wayne lifts him up and he's like, and then hits a house call, which is Swerve's move, to pick up the win. So this was mostly about sending a message than, having a good match, which I'm okay with. We then move to our main event of the evening, as we got Bryan Danielson teaming up with FTR to take on The Righteous and Lance Archer. And good Lord, this match kicked butt. This was one of my favorite matches of the week. Really, really good back and forth, especially between Danielson and Archer. Like, the big guy, little guy dynamic works really, really well between them. And actually, same thing can be said with Danielson and Dutch. Who counters a Busaiku knee into a boss man slam, which was absolutely nuts. But that only gets him a 2 count. And then FTR hit the Shatter Machine for the victory for the team. Then post-match, The Righteous and Lance Archer attack FTR and Danielson, including some nasty chokeslams from Archer. They bring out the chairs. Lance Archer with a blackout to Dax Harwood. And then a swanton from Vincent. Then out comes an unlikely ally as Daniel Garcia, with a chair, runs off The Righteous and Lance Archer. I honestly forgot FTR and Daniel Garcia had a little kind of mentor-mentee relationship going on. And I'm glad that got brought back up, because it's looking like Team AEW might need some replacement parts. So, that was Collision. A very entertaining show for what it was. Was it really the most important show on the card on AEW? No. Was it a whole lot of fun? Absolutely. Anyway, we go to our last show of the week, as it's AEW Rampage, which is being preemptive by the NBA. It is going to 6:30 next week on Friday, so look out for that. We start off with a very underrated matchup, a matchup I don't think I ever saw coming, as it's Kyle O'Reilly taking on Lee Moriarty. And these two might be the most underrated technicians in wrestling, because they got every hold imaginable in this matchup, including a guillotine attempt, a triangle, in which that gets led into a brain buster, into an armbar, for your winner, Kyle O'Reilly. We then go backstage to an interview with the Acclaimed, who reveal, they're going back for the tag division, and, Billy Gunn has a thing against authorities, his role in DX. And while we are back in the tag division, no one took us up on this offer, so we took the first match we could. We're going to take Cage out to the junkyard and prove why we're the foundation of AEW and AEW's best homegrown tag team. So, nice little fighting words for the Acclaimed. We'll get to that match a little later. So next up, we got the in-ring return of Rush, one of my favorite wrestlers currently, as he takes on Loco Yoko Cody Chung. And Cody goes for a big splash right away, whiffs. Rush with a rising knee strike gets Cody in the corner, bullhorns for the win. And it looks like Rush is leaving, gets back in the ring and just starts beating the heck out of Cody Chung, gets him to the outside, goes under the ring, gets audio cable, whatever, auxiliary cable, starts whipping Cody with it, and chokes him out. Officials come out, break it up, segment ends. That is definitely a good way to get Rush back on track. And, hopefully we got something for him, because Rush is very underrated. Then we go backstage. Renee Paquette's right outside the medical office, waiting for an update for FTR. Out comes Bryan Danielson, who says, Elite, you put prices on our heads, and FTR won't be at Dynamite, but obviously you failed, because I'm still here, I'm still standing. So Wednesday, take your best shot, because if you miss, you won't like the consequences. I love Bryan Danielson, man. This dude is intense, he's great in the ring, he's awesome on the mic. Give this man all his flowers. I'm a little sad he hasn't won the AEW title yet. Like, it's going to be so sad to see him go. Like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready, man. Come on. We then go up to this next match as Deonna Purrazzo takes on Robyn Renegade. It has definitely been a while since I've seen the Renegades. So, definitely good to see her up here. And this match was stiff. Like, these two looked like they wanted to beat the stuffing out of one another. Eventually, Deonna Purrazzo wins with the flatliner into the armbar for the submission win. But post-match, she locks in the Venus de Milo on Robyn. Then out comes Thunder Rosa to make the save. Purrazzo initially bails. She walks around the ring as Thunder Rosa is checking on Robyn. Then Purrazzo with a little sneak attack elbow to Thunder Rosa in the ring. Then Purrazzo walks up the ramp. Thunder Rosa chases her, grabs her by her hair, gets her back in the ring. Then Purrazzo rolls back out and escapes through the crowd. I want this match on pay-per-view. Like, this has been a well-built feud between these two, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready for this matchup. Then we get a very interesting Scorpio Sky hype video, kind of doing like a common man connection to the crowd thing, but it's not. It's more tongue-in-cheek, which is, cheeky at best. I do like it, and I'm more than happy to see Scorpio Sky back on my TV. Then we get a Sanjay Dutt interview, which gets cut short because Sanjay Dutt punts the interviewer out. So it just becomes a promo where he announces, I got off the phone with the Elite, and boy oh boy, Wednesday we got a big old surprise for you, as you are taking on my giant, Satnam Singh. And that on Wednesday, we're going to have one hell of a cookout. Satnam Singh in his first singles match in a while? I definitely put him with Bryan Danielson too. Dude's one of these guys who can have a match with a flagpole and still get 5 stars out of it. Like, without a doubt. And finally, we got our main event of the evening as Anthony Bowens of The Acclaimed takes on Brian Cage. And this was low-key a hoss fight. Like, some really good back and forth. Bowens with a nasty-looking boss man slam that only gets a 2. Cage counters on a Death Valley driver into a superplex. Tries for the drill claw. That misses. And Cage with a big old clothesline. Tries again for the drill claw. But that gets blocked. Bowens with a couple of super kicks. Tries for a Death Valley driver, but Cage gets out of it. And it kind of pushes Bowens into the ref. And then Cage with a low blow. A drill claw to pick up the win. Then out comes Max Caster and Billy Gunn to run off Cage and check on Bowens to end the show. Yeah, I'm going to say this. This was definitely an interesting week for pro wrestling. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of in between. Overall, it was a pretty entertaining week. Can't wait to share what comes next with y'all. Because this weekend, we got King and Queen of the Ring. We also got Double or Nothing. I'll be doing predictions for Queen and King of the Ring. Give you a recap on that on Monday. Then Tuesday, it'll be the week that was in wrestling. So hopefully you guys stay tuned for that one. And until then, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.